What if the secret to wealth, success, and fulfillment has been sitting quietly in plain sight for over a century, waiting for you to act upon it? Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is not merely a book, it is a blueprint. And today we revisit its timeless wisdom in the calm, commanding voice of Earl Nightingale. Wisdom that, when applied, still transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. This is Earl Nightingale. In the quiet hours of the morning, when most of the world still sleeps, there is a question that has echoed across generations: why do some men and women succeed, while others with equal talent, equal opportunity, and equal intelligence remain bound by mediocrity? Napoleon Hill devoted 25 years of his life to answering that question. The result was a philosophy called Think and Grow Rich. It was not written for a select few. It was written for you, and for anyone who dares to shape life by design, rather than drift through it by chance. Hill discovered that every great success begins with a simple truth, a definite purpose. Decide what you want. Not vaguely, not someday, but precisely and now. A man without a goal is like a ship without a rudder, adrift at the mercy of every passing wind. But the man with a clear aim commands his destiny. Once you decide, you must believe. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is the inner conviction that transforms desire into reality. Your mind, when fed daily with belief and determination, becomes a magnet attracting the very people, opportunities, and resources needed for your success. We shape this belief through repetition, or what Hill called autosuggestion. Day after day, speak your goals into existence. Write them, repeat them, visualize them, until they become as real in your mind as the ground beneath your feet. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief alone is not enough. You must act. You must gain specialized knowledge. Do not waste your time trying to master all things. Instead, learn deeply that which brings you closer to your definite purpose. Pair knowledge with imagination. Picture in your mind the life you want to live. From imagination comes the plan, and from the plan comes action. And here, my friends, is where the majority falter. They dream, they hope, they plan, and then they hesitate. Success does not wait for hesitation. Decision is the power to choose swiftly and act boldly. And once the decision is made, persistence must carry you forward. The difference between failure and success is often a matter of refusing to quit when others have surrendered. Hill also taught the value of a mastermind alliance, the deliberate joining of minds for mutual benefit. No man achieves greatness alone. Seek out those whose strengths complement your weaknesses, whose vision expands your own, and whose character inspires you to rise higher. Finally, remember this: the only true enemy is fear. Fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. These are illusions, chains of the mind. Break them, and you are free to achieve whatever you desire. There is one thought I want you to carry with you, a line so powerful it can alter the course of your life. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. It is the compass that directs effort, thought, and imagination toward a single, meaningful aim. Without it, life drifts aimlessly like a ship without a rudder, tossed by circumstance, chance, and the opinions of others. When a man or woman chooses a definite purpose, every thought begins to align with that chosen objective, and every action either supports it or is discarded as irrelevant. Clarity of purpose gives meaning to sacrifice, energy to effort, and persistence to struggle. It is the fuel that transforms ordinary days into steps of progress toward an extraordinary future. Most people spend their lives chasing scattered desires, never committing to one clear destination. They want success, but cannot define what success means to them. They desire wealth, but have no figure in mind. They long for happiness, but do not articulate what form that happiness must take. This vagueness is the chief enemy of achievement. Definiteness of purpose demands that you state your goal plainly, as though it were already real. It requires that you write it, speak it, and see it in your imagination until it becomes as solid in your mind as stone. Once definite, the goal becomes magnetic, drawing the necessary people, ideas, and opportunities into your orbit. With a definite purpose, decisions become easier because you measure each choice against your chief aim. Time, which is the most precious resource, is no longer squandered but invested. Energy is no longer scattered but concentrated. Challenges which once seemed overwhelming become stepping stones because they are viewed through the lens of your purpose. Success does not arrive by accident or luck. It is the natural result of a mind directed by a single, unshakable aim, you said. Faith believe in your ability to achieve your desire. Faith turns thoughts into reality. Expand it in 400 words and never add any ending sentence, ChatGPT said. Faith is the invisible force that transforms thought into reality. It is the conviction that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable when pursued with persistence and belief. Faith is more than hope, for hope waits and wishes, while faith acts and expects. It is the quiet assurance that although the evidence may not yet exist in the physical world, the seed has already been planted in the mind, and with proper nourishment it must grow. Every great success story begins with a vision held firmly in faith before it ever materializes in the outer world. Belief in oneself is the foundation of this principle. Without faith in your ability to achieve, doubt seeps in and weakens effort. The human mind responds to its dominant thoughts, and when those thoughts are infused with belief, they activate unseen forces that align circumstances in your favor. Faith is the link between desire and attainment, the bridge that carries an idea from imagination to manifestation. What the mind consistently believes with conviction, it inevitably attracts through action, persistence, and opportunity. Faith can be cultivated. It is not reserved for a chosen few, but is built like a muscle through repetition and reinforcement. Hill taught that autosuggestion, feeding the mind with affirmations of your definite purpose, strengthens belief. Each time you affirm your goal, visualize its attainment, and feel the reality of it, you deepen the roots of faith. This mental conditioning gradually eliminates doubt and fear, replacing them with certainty and confidence. Over time, the subconscious accepts these suggestions as truth, and once accepted, the mind begins to shape behavior, decisions, and opportunities to match that belief. When faith is present, setbacks are viewed not as defeats but as temporary obstacles, guiding you to refine your approach. Faith does not prevent challenges but sustains the spirit through them. It inspires persistence when logic suggests surrender. It transforms rejection into redirection and struggle into preparation. History is filled with men and women who accomplished what others deemed impossible simply because they refused to doubt their vision. Their belief sustained them when no one else could see the outcome, and eventually, the world witnessed the reality of what they had long carried in faith. Autosuggestion is the mechanism through which the human mind is trained to accept and believe in a desired outcome. It is the act of impressing thoughts upon the subconscious mind through constant repetition, spoken word, and vivid imagination. The subconscious, unlike the conscious mind, does not reason, argue, or question. It accepts what it is fed, whether constructive or destructive, true or false, empowering or limiting. For this reason, the thoughts you deliberately choose and repeat with emotion gradually become part of your inner programming, and this programming ultimately governs your actions, decisions, and destiny. Napoleon Hill discovered that the principle of autosuggestion is the bridge between desire and belief. It is not enough to want something. Desire must be transformed into conviction. Autosuggestion is the tool that makes this transformation possible. By affirming your definite purpose daily, by speaking it aloud with conviction, and by picturing it as already accomplished, you condition the subconscious to accept it as fact. Once accepted, the subconscious sets to work influencing your behavior, sharpening your awareness, and guiding you toward the opportunities that align with your aim. What may have once seemed distant and improbable becomes natural, because your mind has already accepted it as real. Repetition is the essence of this process. Just as a seed requires repeated watering to grow into a strong tree, the mind requires consistent feeding of the right ideas to grow into belief. A single statement or visualization is not enough to overcome years of doubt, fear, and negative conditioning. But when a thought is repeated day after day, especially with strong feeling and emotion, it eventually penetrates the subconscious and becomes dominant. This is why affirmations must be spoken with passion, why goals must be written and reviewed, and why visualization must be vivid and detailed. The more frequently and intensely the idea is impressed, the more quickly it becomes a guiding belief. The effect of autosuggestion can be seen everywhere in life. Consider the individual who repeatedly tells himself that he cannot succeed, that opportunities are scarce, and that he is destined to fail. His subconscious accepts this suggestion and his actions reflect it. Hesitation, self-sabotage, lack of confidence. Conversely, the person who feeds his mind with thoughts of success, confidence, and abundance develops a different reality. His subconscious accepts success as natural, and his actions reflect boldness, persistence, and creativity. The outer world, in turn, begins to mirror the inner conviction. Autosuggestion must also be specific. A vague desire produces vague results. The subconscious responds most powerfully to clear, definite instructions. When you affirm your goals, state them with precision: the exact outcome, the time frame, the plan of action. Combine these statements with visualization so vivid that you feel the experience in advance, the sights, the sounds, the emotions of attainment. By engaging the imagination, you multiply the impact of suggestion, for the subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined event and a real one. Through this process, Repetition of thought creates belief, and belief naturally creates action. Once the subconscious accepts an idea as true, it influences behavior in harmony with that idea. Doubt fades, hesitation diminishes, and decisions become aligned with your chief purpose. Over time, these aligned actions accumulate, and the result is the outward manifestation of what was once only an inward suggestion. Specialized knowledge is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess in the pursuit of success. While general knowledge may provide a broad foundation, it is never sufficient on its own to create wealth, achievement, or mastery. Libraries are filled with volumes of general knowledge. Universities overflow with it, and countless individuals carry it in their minds, yet remain without distinction, purpose, or results. Success does not reward those who merely know a little about many things. It rewards those who have taken the time to study deeply, deliberately, and consistently in one chosen direction. Specialized knowledge transforms ordinary ambition into effective action because it equips the individual with skills, insights, and strategies that directly serve a definite purpose. Napoleon Hill emphasized that knowledge in itself is not power. It becomes power only when it is organized, directed, and applied to the achievement of a definite aim. This is the great difference between accumulation and application. Many people collect facts, degrees, and information, but fail to channel it toward anything meaningful. Specialized knowledge, however, is practical and purposeful. It is the targeted learning that supports your chief aim in life, the refinement of abilities that allow you to stand out in your field, and the wisdom that empowers you to solve specific problems others cannot. A person with specialized knowledge is like a craftsman with a set of finely honed tools, capable of creating value and commanding rewards that those with only vague familiarity cannot. The beauty of specialized knowledge is that it is always within reach of anyone willing to acquire it. It can be gained through personal study, through experience, through mentorship, or by surrounding oneself with those who already possess it. One does not need to know everything personally, but must ensure that the right knowledge is available and applied. This is why Hill highlighted the importance of the Mastermind Alliance, bringing together individuals who each contribute their own specialized knowledge toward a common purpose. In this way, the strengths of one become the strengths of many, and the group achieves far more than the isolated individual could ever accomplish. Specialized knowledge also demands continual growth. What is sufficient today may be obsolete tomorrow as industries evolve and new challenges arise. The individual committed to success must remain a student for life, sharpening skills, expanding expertise, and adapting knowledge to changing conditions. This commitment to learning ensures relevance and resilience. Those who rest on yesterday's understanding soon find themselves outpaced by those who continue to refine their craft. To stay specialized is not to remain fixed, but to remain deeply engaged with the evolving demands of one's chosen purpose. When you align your learning directly with your definite aim, every hour of study becomes an investment in your future. Every skill acquired, every piece of insight gained, and every new perspective mastered becomes fuel for achievement. General knowledge may provide the background, but specialized knowledge provides the leverage that lifts you above the crowd, positions you as indispensable, and brings you steadily closer to the realization of your chief desire. Imagination is the workshop of the mind, the invisible stage upon which all progress, invention, and achievement are first rehearsed before they ever appear in the physical world. Every building that stands, every machine that runs, every work of art that inspires, every fortune that has ever been created began first as a thought, shaped and refined in the imagination of its creator. It is through imagination that desire takes form, and through imagination that vague wishes are molded into definite, actionable plans. Without it, even the greatest desire remains formless, like clay that is never touched by the sculptor's hand. Napoleon Hill distinguished between two types of imagination: synthetic imagination and creative imagination. Synthetic imagination is the ability to arrange old concepts, plans, or ideas into new combinations. It draws upon the knowledge, experience, and observations we already possess and reshapes them into something useful. Creative imagination, on the other hand, is the wellspring of entirely new ideas, flashes of inspiration, and insights that seem to come from beyond conscious reasoning. Both forms are indispensable, for progress often requires a combination of reassembling what already exists and daring to conceive what has never been tried before. Imagination thrives when it is deliberately cultivated. The mind must be given time and space to think, to dream, to visualize possibilities without restriction. Many people stifle their imagination by allowing fear, doubt, or rigid logic to dominate their thoughts, forgetting that every great advance seemed illogical to the world before it became reality. The Wright brothers imagined flight when the world thought it impossible. Edison imagined light where there was only darkness. Every innovator, entrepreneur, and visionary has relied upon imagination as the seed bed of their achievements. To neglect this faculty is to close the door on the very force that drives progress. Desire is the starting point, but imagination gives it form. A person may wish for wealth, success, or happiness, but until he or she sits down and begins to picture it clearly, to design the steps and to map out the path, the wish remains only a dream. Imagination allows you to see the end before the beginning, to walk in your mind the journey before you take the first step. By repeatedly visualizing your goal as already attained, you impress it upon the subconscious, which then directs thought and action toward its realization. This is why visualization, combined with belief, is one of the most powerful practices an individual can adopt. Imagination is also the birthplace of resilience. When obstacles appear, it is the imaginative mind that sees new solutions, new angles, new paths where none seem to exist. It allows one to adapt, to innovate, and to persist by creating alternatives. Those who depend solely on what is already known are confined to the boundaries of the present, but those who cultivate imagination step into the unlimited possibilities of the future. It is in this workshop of the mind that desires are shaped into definite, practical plans, and it is from this workshop that the blueprint of every achievement is drawn. Organized planning is the stage where desire, faith, and imagination are translated into deliberate, coordinated action. It is the discipline of structuring thought into strategy and strategy into step-by-step effort. Success does not arrive by chance or accident, but is the natural outcome of a plan that has been carefully prepared, intelligently adjusted, and persistently executed. A desire without a plan is nothing more than a passing wish, but a desire supported by organized planning becomes a blueprint for achievement, a charted course that transforms intangible dreams into concrete results. Napoleon Hill emphasized that the individual who relies solely on luck or inspiration will always find himself at the mercy of circumstances, while the one who organizes his efforts through careful planning takes command of circumstances. Planning brings clarity to intention. It defines not only the goal but also the exact steps by which the goal will be reached. It considers resources, identifies obstacles, assigns responsibilities, and provides time frames. Without organization, even the most brilliant ideas collapse under confusion and inconsistency. With it, even modest ambitions grow into powerful accomplishments because every action is connected to a larger strategy. One of the greatest advantages of organized planning is that it forces decision and commitment. The very act of putting a plan on paper compels a person to think clearly about what must be done, when it must be done, and who will do it. Many people hesitate indefinitely because their desires remain vague. They think they need more time, more resources, or more favorable conditions. But when a practical plan is written, indecision vanishes and forward motion begins. A plan transforms uncertainty into direction and intention into execution. Hill also taught that no plan is perfect in its first form. Organized planning requires flexibility, the willingness to test, measure, and adapt. When one plan fails, another must be substituted without hesitation. Persistence is not stubbornly clinging to a failing method. It is the commitment to continue moving toward the goal while adjusting the strategy as necessary. Every failure carries with it a lesson that strengthens the next plan, and each adjustment brings the goal closer. Organized planning, therefore, is not rigid but dynamic. It is a living process, constantly refined through experience, feedback, and insight. A crucial part of planning is the intelligent use of the mastermind principle. No one person possesses all the knowledge, skills, or perspectives required to build great success. By surrounding oneself with a group of like-minded individuals who bring their specialized knowledge and strengths, the quality of planning increases exponentially. A well-constructed plan often reflects not only the vision of one individual, but the combined wisdom of many. This alliance ensures that blind spots are covered, weaknesses are compensated for, and opportunities are identified more effectively than one mind could manage alone. Organized planning also provides the framework for discipline. Once a plan is established, it sets the standard for daily action. Time is no longer spent in random effort, but is allocated according to priority. Energy is conserved by eliminating distractions and focusing only on tasks that advance the plan. Momentum builds as consistent, organized action compounds day after day. Over time, this compounding effect creates results that appear extraordinary to the outside observer but are, in truth, the natural consequence of deliberate, structured effort. History shows that every enduring success has been backed by organized planning. Great businesses, inventions, and personal fortunes did not materialize overnight. They were built step by step, guided by clear objectives, executed through practical strategies, and refined with persistence. To plan is to take control, to refuse to leave your future to chance, and to command your energies toward a definite result. Organized planning is not merely preparation, it is the bridge between the invisible world of thought and the visible world of achievement. Decision is one of the most vital qualities of successful men and women. It is the power to choose a course of action with clarity, confidence, and speed, and then to stand by that choice with firmness. Napoleon Hill discovered, in his study of hundreds of the most accomplished individuals of his time, that without exception they possessed the ability to reach decisions quickly and to change them, if at all, very slowly. Conversely, those who failed in life were often found to be indecisive, wavering between choices, and constantly changing their minds. Indecision is the enemy of progress because it paralyzes action, scatters energy, and allows opportunities to slip by while one waits for perfect certainty. The habit of decision creates momentum. The moment a decision is made, the mind shifts from doubt to direction, from hesitation to movement. Action begins, and in action lies power. Opportunities rarely wait for those who linger. The individual who hesitates often loses the chance to act altogether, while the one who decides swiftly gains the advantage of initiative. Life rewards decisiveness because the world respects those who demonstrate conviction, and doors open more readily to the person who knows what he wants and acts upon it. Decision also builds character and confidence. Each time you make a firm choice and carry it out, you strengthen your belief in your own ability to direct your life. This self-trust compounds over time, creating a sense of inner authority that is unmistakable. Others sense it as well. People naturally follow those who know where they are going, while they are wary of those who cannot decide. The ability to decide is not only a personal strength, but also a leadership quality that inspires trust, commands respect, and influences others to act. It is important to recognize that no decision can be made with perfect knowledge of the future. Waiting for complete certainty is a form of procrastination disguised as caution. Every decision carries some risk, but indecision carries the greater risk of stagnation. The successful person understands that mistakes are part of the process, and that a wrong decision corrected quickly is often far less costly than the failure to decide at all. Indecision breeds doubt, and doubt erodes faith, which in turn weakens all effort. Decision, by contrast, fuels faith, for it is an act of belief in your ability to move forward regardless of uncertainty. The practice of decision requires both clarity of purpose and courage. When you know exactly what you want, decisions become simpler because each option can be measured against your definite aim. Choices either move you closer to your goal or distract you from it. But clarity alone is not enough. Courage is required to act firmly even when fear, criticism, or temporary setbacks appear. Many shrink from decision because they fear being wrong or being judged, yet history shows that progress belongs to those who dared to decide, to take a stand, and to move forward when others hesitated. Decision must also be reinforced by consistency. It is not enough to make a choice, one must commit to it with persistence. The individual who makes decisions quickly but abandons them just as quickly gains no advantage. True decision is firm, resolute, and sustained until results are achieved or until undeniable evidence demands a change. This steadfastness is what separates the strong from the weak, the achiever from the dreamer. It is easy to decide when conditions are favorable, but greatness comes from the ability to hold firm to a decision when obstacles arise. Indecision drains time, energy, and opportunity. Decision channels them into power, movement, and progress. Every great accomplishment in history can be traced back to the moment when someone decided to act, to begin, to persist, to never turn back. The individual who develops the habit of swift and firm decision becomes the master of his fate, while the one who delays remains forever a servant to circumstance. Persistence is the sustained effort required to turn desire into reality. It is the quiet force that continues when excitement fades, when obstacles appear, and when others give up. Napoleon Hill observed that persistence is the quality that guarantees results, for nothing in the world can take the place of steady, consistent effort. Talent alone will not bring success, nor will genius or education, but persistence has the power to overcome nearly every obstacle because it refuses to be defeated. It is persistence that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers and separates those who dream from those who do. Desire is the foundation of persistence. Without a burning desire for a definite goal, the effort required to overcome challenges will seem too great. Desire provides the fuel that sustains action through disappointment, delay, and temporary failure. When you want something strongly enough, persistence becomes natural, because quitting is no longer an option. This is why the first step toward cultivating persistence is to choose a definite aim that excites the heart and mind. A goal so compelling that it commands loyalty even when the path is difficult. Persistence also requires faith. The belief that your efforts will eventually pay off gives you the strength to continue when results are not yet visible. Faith turns persistence from blind struggle into purposeful endurance. Each small step taken in faith, each action performed with conviction, adds weight to the momentum that eventually pushes through resistance. Without faith, persistence withers under the pressure of doubt. But with faith, persistence becomes unstoppable. Obstacles are inevitable on the road to achievement, and it is persistence that transforms these obstacles into stepping stones. Every failure carries within it a lesson that strengthens the individual who refuses to quit. The persistent person views setbacks not as reasons to abandon the goal, but as information, as feedback to refine the plan and sharpen the approach. This attitude ensures progress even when conditions are unfavorable. Each attempt, each correction, each renewed effort brings the individual closer to the desired outcome. Persistence is not about avoiding difficulty, but about mastering it through repeated effort. The practice of persistence is also built upon habit. Daily effort, even when small, compounds into significant progress over time. Many give up because they look for immediate results, but persistence understands that growth is gradual. Just as a seed does not sprout overnight, success does not come instantly. It requires continuous nurturing, daily attention, and unwavering effort. By making persistence a habit, progress becomes automatic, and the goal draws nearer with each passing day. Persistence is further strengthened by association. Surrounding yourself with others who embody determination, courage, and resilience reinforces your own commitment. A mastermind group, as Hill described, provides encouragement and accountability, ensuring that persistence is not left to willpower alone. The influence of supportive allies can rekindle determination when it flickers, making it far easier to continue than to quit. History is filled with stories of individuals who succeeded simply because they would not give up. Edison, after thousands of failed experiments, finally produced the light bulb. Lincoln, after numerous defeats, rose to the presidency. Each example demonstrates the same principle: persistence outlasts failure. The world often crowns the man or woman who simply refused to stop trying, who continued long after others had abandoned the pursuit. Persistence is the force that makes all other principles effective, for without it, even the best ideas, plans, and talents remain unrealized. With it, even ordinary abilities achieve extraordinary results. The Mastermind Alliance is one of the most powerful concepts introduced by Napoleon Hill, and it has remained a cornerstone of achievement ever since. It is the deliberate act of surrounding yourself with people who elevate your vision, expand your possibilities, and provide strengths that complement your own. No great success has ever been achieved in isolation. Behind every remarkable accomplishment stands not only the effort of an individual, but the collective influence of others who contributed knowledge, encouragement, perspective, and resources. The Mastermind Alliance is the recognition that one mind, no matter how capable, is limited, but many minds working in harmony can tap into an almost infinite source of power. The principle rests on the idea that when two or more minds come together in a spirit of harmony, they create a third mind, a greater intelligence that is more powerful than the sum of its parts. This invisible force generates ideas, insights, and solutions that no single person could have discovered alone. It is the power of collaboration raised to its highest form. When you enter into a Mastermind Alliance, you gain access not only to the knowledge of others, but also to their energy, their belief in your vision, and their ability to see possibilities you might have overlooked. The importance of harmony cannot be overstated. A mastermind group is not merely a collection of people, but a carefully chosen alliance of individuals united by mutual respect, trust, and a shared commitment to growth. When there is harmony, ideas flow freely, criticism becomes constructive, and each member contributes to the elevation of the others. Without harmony, the alliance collapses into conflict, jealousy, or mistrust, and the power is lost. This is why Hill insisted that careful selection of partners is essential, for the quality of your mastermind determines the quality of your results. The benefits of the Mastermind Alliance extend far beyond knowledge. It provides accountability, ensuring that intentions are not left as mere thoughts but are carried into action. It provides encouragement, keeping persistence alive during moments of doubt or difficulty. It provides perspective, offering angles of thought that broaden vision and reveal opportunities hidden from view. It provides specialized skills and experience, allowing each member to focus on his or her strengths while relying on the group to fill in the gaps. In this way, the Mastermind Alliance multiplies effectiveness and accelerates progress toward definite goals. History offers countless examples of the mastermind principle at work. The founding fathers of America worked as a mastermind alliance to create a nation. Industrial pioneers such as Henry Ford relied on alliances with men who possessed knowledge he did not. Edison, though a brilliant inventor, surrounded himself with experts who translated his ideas into practical application. Each of these individuals understood that their own vision could only reach its full potential when supported by the combined force of other minds working in unity. Building a mastermind alliance requires intention. It means seeking out individuals who not only share ambition but who challenge you to grow, who hold you accountable to your highest standards, and who believe in your vision even when obstacles arise. It means offering the same in return, for the alliance thrives only when all members contribute equally to its strength. Over time, this mutual investment creates a bond that becomes one of the most valuable assets in the pursuit of success. The Mastermind Alliance proves that success is never truly a solitary journey, but a collective triumph of minds united in purpose, harmony, and determination. Fear is the silent enemy that robs more people of success, happiness, and fulfillment than any visible obstacle in life. It creeps into the mind disguised as caution, hesitation, or doubt, and it paralyzes action before progress can even begin. Napoleon Hill identified fear as one of the greatest barriers to achievement, for it weakens faith, clouds judgment, and convinces the individual to abandon dreams long before they are tested. Fear whispers of failure, ridicule, poverty, or loss, and if those whispers are accepted as truth, the individual surrenders not to reality but to imagination turned against itself. To overcome fear is to reclaim power, to liberate the mind from chains that were never real, and to unlock the freedom to pursue one's highest potential. Every fear is born in the mind, and it is in the mind that it must be defeated. The first step to overcoming fear is to recognize it for what it is, a state of thought, not an unchangeable condition. Fear thrives when it is vague and undefined, but once brought into the light of awareness, it begins to weaken. Naming the fear, examining it, and questioning its validity reveal that most fears are illusions, magnified by imagination but unsupported by fact. The fear of failure, for example, loses its power when one realizes that every failure carries lessons that bring success closer. The fear of criticism fades when one understands that the opinions of others do not determine destiny. The fear of poverty dissolves when a definite plan for prosperity is pursued with persistence and belief. By confronting fear directly, the individual discovers that it has no real substance. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Those who achieve greatness are not those who never felt fear, but those who refuse to allow fear to dictate their choices. Courage is born from faith, from the belief that your purpose is stronger than your doubts, and that your vision is more powerful than the obstacles in your path. Each time you choose to act in the presence of fear, you weaken its hold, and each act of courage builds confidence for the next challenge. Over time, the habit of courageous action replaces the habit of fearful hesitation, and freedom becomes the natural state of the mind. Fear is often defeated by preparation. The unknown seems terrifying until it is studied, understood, and broken down into manageable steps. Knowledge replaces uncertainty, and action replaces paralysis. The individual who makes a plan acquires specialized knowledge and surrounds himself with a mastermind alliance discovers that fear shrinks in the presence of preparation. What once seemed overwhelming becomes attainable when approached with clarity and persistence. In this way, fear becomes not a permanent barrier but a temporary challenge dissolved by deliberate effort. History shows that every achievement of significance required someone to overcome fear. Explorers who ventured into unknown seas, inventors who challenged accepted beliefs, leaders who stood against opposition. All faced fear but acted regardless. Their courage opened new paths, created new opportunities, and expanded the boundaries of what humanity believed possible. The same principle applies to every individual life. Fear will appear whenever growth is attempted, but it need not be obeyed. It is only when fear is faced and conquered that true freedom emerges, and in that freedom lies the power to achieve anything the mind can conceive and believe. The truths we have explored are timeless, and together they form a philosophy of success as practical today as when Napoleon Hill first wrote them. Definiteness of purpose gives you direction. Faith fuels belief in your ability to achieve. Autosuggestion imprints that belief upon your subconscious mind until it becomes conviction. Specialized knowledge equips you with the tools to act. Imagination transforms desire into a plan. Organized planning ensures deliberate and steady progress. Decision clears away hesitation and turns intention into action. Persistence carries you forward when obstacles arise. The Mastermind Alliance multiplies your strength through the harmony of other minds. And overcoming fear liberates you to pursue your vision without chains. When woven together, these principles form more than a philosophy, they form a way of life. They remind us that success is not an accident, nor the product of luck, but the inevitable outcome of desire acted upon with clarity, faith, courage, and persistence. Each principle alone is powerful, but together they become a blueprint that anyone may follow, regardless of age, background, or circumstance, to build a life of achievement and fulfillment. The central truth is this: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is the master key, the thread that unites every principle and every story of triumph. It is not limited to wealth, but extends to every goal worthy of desire: happiness, health, relationships, contribution, and personal growth. The power lies not outside you, but within your own mind, awaiting your decision to use it. So begin now. Choose your definite purpose. Strengthen it with faith. Guard your mind with positive autosuggestion. Sharpen yourself with specialized knowledge. Use imagination to shape your plans. Organize those plans into action. Decide firmly and quickly. Persist when difficulties come. Surround yourself with a mastermind of strength and vision. And above all, refuse to bow to fear. The path is clear, the principles proven, and the reward certain for those who act